Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be going over the Aaron Rodgers trade rumors, the Aaron Rodgers trade situation, what's going on in Green Bay, and we're just going to be breaking that down. Before we get started though, please drop a quick like and a sub on today's video. That would really help my channel grow. I'd really appreciate that. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's dive right into it. Aaron Rodgers and the whole situation around Aaron Rodgers and, the Green Bay Packers is worthy of a video. It really is. And I thought this was something that would blow over. To be honest, this was being heard. We heard this in the draft. And I will legitimately be honest here, and I will legitimately say that I thought that this whole Aaron Rodgers thing would blow over. It would simply blow over. It would be a thing where, you can't just get rid of the guy who was the best player in the league last year. You can't move on from him. You got to give him everything. You got to do everything to keep him there. And this is lasted for too long. It really has. And at the end of the day, I think Aaron Rodgers and what this guy was able to do in the football field last year makes him arguably the most important player for this Packers team. Actually, no, he is the most important player for this Packers team. There's no conversation about it. I mean, sure, what he's been able to do over the past, 10 seasons or so for this Packers team, even longer than that, has been nothing short of amazing. It's been nothing short of unbelievable. But last year, just look at the stats. Led the league in completion percentage, 70.7% completion percentage. Led them to a 13-3 record, back to the NFC Championship game. Obviously, they ended up losing that game. But overall, this is a team that was really good in the regular season last year and pretty good in the playoffs too. They were a game away from getting to the Super Bowl. 4,300 yards, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That was Aaron Rodgers this season. And sure, he had great weapons on the outside and great run game. But this guy is playing as good as he's ever played in his career at age 37. Sure, he's going to his age 38 season, and that's got to scare you. If you're an Aaron Rodgers fan, there's going to be some regression. I mean, the guy is not going to be putting up 50 touchdowns over the next 5 seasons. We're not going to see that. But what we will see is we'll see Aaron Rodgers, wherever he plays next year, be very productive. So let's talk about why Aaron Rodgers wants to leave the Packers. For starters, let's talk about, what Packers insiders are saying. And this Packers insider says that Aaron Rodgers will never play for Green Bay again. Obviously, Rodgers requested a trade on the night of the NFL draft, planning of the flag moment that was a long time coming for the MVP. The animosity between Rodgers and the Packers extends far beyond the drafting of Jordan Love in the first round of the 2020 NFL draft, as an entire decade of wasted opportunities is seemingly bowled over. And that was the first thing I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about, Jordan Love, first round of 2020 NFL draft, when that Packers offense could easily have taken a wide receiver. And they have not given Aaron Rodgers enough help, and they really haven't. They haven't drafted a first-round receiver. They haven't really drafted any weapons. They continue to draft backup running backs for a strong running game. But at the end of the day, this is a team that has not helped Aaron Rodgers. They've put too much of the work on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders, and they've not given him enough options in the passing game. They haven't given him enough help and support to really cultivate a team that can really help. And if you're not a Packers fan, you might be saying, no, that's not true. That's really not true. Because at the end of the day, you see Davante Adams, you see Aaron Jones, you see, Robert Tonyan too, and you're like, wow, these guys are great. You see David Bakhtiari, and you're like, wow. You see Elton Jenkins, you're like, wow, this team's fantastic. You even saw Corey Linsley, who ended up signing a massive deal with the Chargers, and you're like, this team has been really good over the past few years. Why aren't they winning, a Super Bowl? And that's another thing. This is a team that made the NFC Championship each of the last 2 seasons and lost in the NFC Championship game. They lost really badly 2 years ago to the 49ers, and they lost pretty. That wasn't a great game last year against the Bucs either. They should have won that game, ended up losing. Kevin King is definitely at fault for that. But also, they haven't been able to get it done in the clutch. So what would you think that they should do? Add some more talent on the offensive side of the football, add a little bit more talent on the defense side of the football, but that's not what they've done. So, Rodgers is frustrated. He's frustrated because he feels like he's got a really good team around him, but he's a few pieces away from being a Super Bowl champion. And that's the case, right? He's a great wide receiver 2 away from being a Super Bowl champion. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Alan Lazard, those guys aren't going to win you anything. Sure, Davante Adams is elite. But what happens when Davante Adams is injured for a game, injured for 2 games, injured for 3 games? Aaron Jones has had injury concerns in the past. Robert Tonyan is a great tight end, but is he a true number 2 pass catcher on a championship caliber football team? Probably not. So this is a team that needs to add weapons around Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers, is sick and tired of it. He's done with the management, he's done with the GM, and he wants out of the Packers organization. And to be honest, I thought that this thing was going to boil over, and I said that earlier in today's video. This thing is really, really annoying. Why this isn't wanting to work? Okay, we're going to have to slide this down. And so I can close this and then access this. Okay, beautiful. Sorry for that. But nonetheless, Rodgers landing spot, 6 teams that make the most sense. And I think at the end of the day, I think that we'll see him back in Green Bay. I really do. I really can't imagine Aaron Rodgers playing for a different team. And I know there is that one. There's that one thing where Aaron Rodgers, Bart Starr, and Brett Favre have all played the same amount of years for the Packers, and that kind of could indicate that Rodgers is out the door. But I really think that he'll be back in Green Bay. I just don't see a team not being able to retain an MVP type player like what Rodgers was able to do last year and be a true leader and a true guy who can really facilitate at the quarterback position and really be an all-around athlete that can make all the plays you need and all the throws you need to make. But if we look at some landing spots, let's look at the Denver Broncos, because I think this has been a team that has really looked like a true Rodgers landing spot. They passed on Justin Fields in the draft. They sat pretty and took Patrick Surtain, a 4th corner that they probably didn't really need. Took the best player available, in my opinion, but still, they could have gone Justin Fields. They could have gone Mac Jones. They decided not to, and maybe that's the reason that they go out and get Aaron Rodgers. And sure, they brought in Teddy Bridgewater, and sure, they have Drew Lock, but none of those guys are long-term answers, and their quarterback room has struggled. They really have struggled. They have obviously found some success in older quarterbacks. Obviously, Peyton Manning came in there, was absolutely fantastic, won a Super Bowl for them, and sure, that was more the defense, but he was still really good for them for a few years. In the year they won the Super Bowl, he was not good. But overall, Rodgers could be that similar spark plug for that Broncos offense. Really add a guy that has been in all the situations before, knows how to win big games, and has been to those big games. So he's got the experience level for especially a young team. Guys like Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler on that offense. So I think that can make a lot of sense. Also, they brought in Javonte Williams as another running back, but that's overall a younger team. They've got Noah Fant as their tight end, and I think Rodgers could add some leadership to that offense. More importantly, though, let's move on to the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are a team that did bring in Sam Darnold, but with the weapons they have on offense, with Christian McCaffrey, with DJ Moore, what is his name, Robbie Anderson, those are guys that could really be a lot for Aaron Rodgers, and I think that they also got Terrence Marshall in the draft. So this is a team that really has a lot of really solid weapons on offense. Is Sam Darnold going to fix it? I don't think so, and I think that Rodgers would be absolutely perfect. Sure, it's going to be a lot of draft capital, and the Panthers would really be selling their next 2 to 3 years, but overall, I still think that would make a lot of sense for that team. The Saints are a team that I see for a little bit, just because they're a team that's complete besides the quarterback. They're great on offense, maybe could add another wide receiver. They're really good on defense, as we saw last year, but the need for a quarterback is legit, especially after Drew Brees leaving last season. And Drew Brees wasn't great last year. He hasn't been great over the past few seasons. He was actually pretty solid 2 years ago, but just because getting up there in age. And to be honest, do I really think Jameis Winston's leading this team to the playoffs? Probably not. Do I think Taysom Hill is? Probably not. So, why not go out and get Aaron Rodgers, give up the next 2 years of first-round picks to get a guy who's going to take you to the playoffs and get to make you a legit contender? And that's a similar thing with the Raiders, too. Rodgers, I think, would love to go to the Raiders just because this is a team that, isn't really in love with Derek Carr anymore, ? I think Derek Carr is absolutely fantastic football, and you can check out that video on my channel where I talk about Derek Carr and film session and why I still think he's a really good quarterback. But the Raiders aren't fascinated with him, and part of that is because they don't really have a ton of weapons on the outside. Sure, they've got Darren Waller, but they don't have a ton of weapons. Their offensive line isn't very good, and although they did, put a lot of wealth and interest and resources into that defense this offseason, I still think that the offense could do with some more. If Rodgers went to the Raiders, I don't think that they're really having a chance at the Super Bowl. I just think it's an interesting fit for him, just because in Las Vegas, big primetime lights. I think that could work, but I don't really think that at the end of the day, Rodgers would really be successful in Las Vegas, just because I feel like Gruden and Mayock have kind of made a mess out there in I guess it's not the desert, but I guess out in Las Vegas. Philadelphia now. This is interesting. I don't think that he would go to Philadelphia because I don't think Philadelphia would want to get a deal done. Just because I know that they don't really love Jalen Hurts. They don't have a true love for him. They do like him, but I think that they should see how he plays next year. More importantly, though, Rodgers, would take up a lot of first-round picks. And although the Eagles have a substantial amount of draft capital, especially with the Carson Wentz trade, as well as the Miami Dolphins trade in this draft. They would have the capital to get Rodgers, but I don't think it's worth it with the team they have. Their defense is on the decline. Their offense isn't getting better really anytime soon. Their offensive line was absolute garbage last year. And sure, there were injuries, and Brandon Brooks was injured, and they didn't have really a healthy offensive line all year, but they don't really have wide receivers, and I don't think that would make sense for Rodgers, especially as a guy who wants to go to a team that can win now. I don't think the Eagles are in a win now mode, especially even if they added Aaron Rodgers. They're not the same team as the Saints, who are a quarterback away from being a true contender. The Eagles aren't a quarterback away. And the final one is the Miami Dolphins. And I want to gloss over this a little bit because as a Dolphins fan, I think this is interesting. I love Tua a lot, but at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is an Aaron Rodgers, and I think Aaron Rodgers could take the Dolphins over the edge. The defense was really good last year, and I think they only got better this offseason by bringing Javon Holland, by bringing in Jalen Phillips. And really adding to that defense of the football. And the wide receiving core, it's there. If you look at it, it's very subtly there. Devontae Parker is really good. Will Fuller could be a really good two guy. Jalen Waddle, another guy. But more importantly, Mike Gesicki is a tight end. So this is a complete offense too, and they're improving on the offensive line. But at the end of the day, I don't really think that the Dolphins would end up giving up Tua. They've really been committed to him this entire offseason and really have showed their faith and commitment in him. So I don't think that they'd go out and trade for Rodgers. But at the end of the day, I think Rodgers in Miami would really take this Dolphins team over the edge and really make them a true contender in the AFC, and not just the AFC East. I think that they'd be able to beat the Bills with Rodgers under center. But once again, Rodgers is going to be out the door, and that's really the idea with Rodgers. He doesn't want to be in Green Bay anymore. Do I think he leaves Green Bay? I just still don't see it being feasible. I still don't see it being possible. But in today's modern game and modern business, where really influential players have that say and have that impact over their future and their contracts. If anyone's able to force his way out of a situation, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, just with the ability for him to be such a dynamic player and to really get what he wants. I mean, when you're that good, you basically do get what you want. You say what you want to say, and you get it. I think if Rodgers really wants to leave Green Bay, that will happen. But I just don't see it as a feasible thing for him to leave Green Bay. But if he were to leave Green Bay, I think Denver probably makes the most sense for him, just because that's really where he's been rumored to the most. But if he really wants to win, I think the Saints would actually be the best fit for him, especially with Sean Payton, who, a quarterback coach duo of Sean Payton and Aaron Rodgers, and what that offense would look like. I think that would be very exciting. But overall, I just think that the Packers shouldn't trade him. You don't trade Aaron Rodgers. I think it's really that simple. But I think this is another situation that's really interesting to see it, and I think it'll be interesting to see how this ends up playing out. And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, see ya.